to be taking the lands for themselves. They're not going to repair what's not broken. But the thing is, their early game and their mid game is a little bit questionable. They keep allowing Infamous to make these rotations. But this is in the condition if Infamous, again, is going to make the same mistakes. They can't afford to take the lands. Infamous knows that it's okay to give the lands, it's okay to give the Kestrel, you know, play the same thing from game 2 to 3, play this at game 4, but they decide to switch it up a bit. Okay, Elite 8 can ban the Grace this second rotation. For Infamous, let's see what they're going to be banning out. Because this really changes a whole new dynamic here. They're going to take out the Glaive. Elite 8 can take out the Grace if they want to.
I feel like they should ban out the Lyra more. Yeah, there you go. Because if they allow a Lyra and a Kestrel to be on the same team, that's a lot of poke as well as sustain from far away, which the lands can never reach. At least if you have the Grace, you have to dive in onto the lands and you have to channel in your Divine Intervention. The difference from that with the Lyra is the Imperial Sigil. You can drop that on the floor and you can do something else. Bulwark, Arcane Passage, whatever. But now Infamous, they are answering with get the hell away from me with the Batiste using that Fearsome Shade.
They're playing differently this time for Infamous. I can tell that they're changing their style up. They feel like maybe our balanced and solid composition that we've been drafting since game number 2 is not working. So perhaps we'll see what Elite 8 is going to pick this time around. I mean, Kestrel has been taken away from them. Looking at what they've picked from game number 1, which they lost, they got the Batiste. They got the Vox. Vox is now open. Let's see if they're going to be taking that, although it did not work so well.
I don't think they will, since there is the Batiste and the Vox, even though he is pretty quick on his feet, might be too bad. And
we did say that Ringo could appear, but that was on Infamous's side. They want to end it, Aserai. They want to end it. They want to finish it. They want to put a period into this series, Aserai. This is why they're picking all these weird things at the same time.
I have no words. I don't know what they're going to pick right now. I feel like... So they have the possibility of a Captain Batiste. Oh man, this is not looking good at all.
What can...
Scarf can actually be pretty good here since there is the Petal. So at least the Munyas will burn alive to the Dragon, and the Ringo would not have a lot of mobility against a Scarf if he gets caught in the goop.
Exactly.
But I think at the same time, Infamous would be thinking, what if we have these pretty mobile champion or heroes that even though they have some okay or insane range in the backline, can still be found by the Lance.
You are right. They're going to be looking or taking the Scarf here for Infamous. Really good damage, really good poke, nice control in a way that they're going to be poking out a lot, especially in lane. But then again, for Elite 8, it's a little bit interesting, actually. What do you think, Aserai?
I just have to say, even though like Elite 8 has been winning these past 2 games with flawless comeback. Not flawless victory, but flawless comebacks. But at the same time, drafting for both of these teams, Elite 8 has been a trendsetter, and Infamous, even though they've been losing, their drafting has been so smart. They got answers for what Elite 8 has in mind in terms of, you know, on paper, but now all they got to do is answer through execution, which is what they're lacking to finish off these games. So that's, I think, is, you know, my 2 cents about the thing.
Yeah, I do have to agree with you there, Aserai. It's all these late game decision making that could really improve. They're having a difficult time finishing these games despite 6 to 8K gold leads already on their side. It's really a very tricky position, especially that they, you know, after getting so close to victory on these 2 games, you might have to, it does something to your mindset on Infamous' side. But we'll have to see if they're going to be regaining their composure, because Elite 8 has been gaining their momentum ever since game 2. They're doing so well. They're calm. They know how to play from behind. They can play this patiently. But I'm really excited if this is going to be heading over to a game number 5 or are we going to be seeing a period to our series?
Guys, game number 4. This is match point already for Elite 8. Infamous, they still got to work with 2 games if they want to win this best of 5 series. So Spaghetti and Uni going to be playing on the jungle here as they try to at least share the experience and the gold as well. While Clowny will be playing on the lane. So maybe they are a little bit afraid of the jungle invades here coming out from Anime Save Me. So let's see.
We'll see what is going to happen next, as I feel like Infamous will be a little bit more reserved, waiting for the spikes to happen, but Anime Save Me charges in with the Impale. Auto attacks coming here and there from Jaeger. Just a couple of more autos, but he doesn't want to be too greedy because the turret is getting him a lot of hits.
Oh man, Uni and Spaghetti, 2-man rotation into the bottom side of the jungle, but hold that thought. Look at the HP. Jaegers though, he's chipping down so freaking low, and there's the shield, but it's not really gonna matter at all. Gets the kill, and first blood will be by Infamous.
Here comes the Spitfire and the Goop as well. Clowny just trying to land in the bad mojos. Official Heinz gonna hop to safety there with her minion, with his minion rather.
Yeah, so the thing that we have to remember here is that Elite 8's composition has a lot of threat in the early game, but does tend to fall off in the late game, and that's where Infamous shines. But at the same time, oh, there's the root, there's the damage, the Githyan wall as well, but Spaghetti will go for the body block. But just to finalize what I said, there is that weakness of Infamous that they've shown in this best of 5, that they're having difficulty with finishing off these series, or the games rather.
Yeah, Elite 8 definitely has the momentum. They tend to get a little bit greedy, especially if they know that they have the upper hand in terms of engagement, which is, in this case, Infamous does have the tendency to make the same mistakes as far as we've seen so far, but look at the steals from the Minions. Scarf's gonna just respect that and move away, back to safety.
No need for the Scarf to go aggressive. All he's got to do is to keep him at a distance, get his farm as stable as he can, and they tried, and them, or rather Infamous, to defend the turret so that when E8 goes for the rotation, they won't actually get much damage on the turret.
Yeah.
So Infamous on the stall game, and Elite 8 on the aggression game.
Yeah, Elite 8 definitely has the kid to be aggressive at this point of the game. But meanwhile, Wave Clear, you gotta respect. A lot of poke, bad mojo being laid out to Jaegers. Lacking in energy, he might run out in a little bit. Half energy already being regenerated for his side. But Anime Save Me just lurking into the brush, finding the correct opportunity as Scarf goes back into the jungle, as Petal will do the same as well.
So the other thing that we have to take note is, again, there's also that counter to Infamous's damage in the late game, wherein even though the Petal can fall off in the late game, his minions can at least block the damage of the Glimmer Shot, which is, I guess, an up for Elite 8. The other thing that you have to take note is I do like Clowny being on a Batiste captain, because we should be seeing an Echo built here, and I think that's a good counter to the Lance, who has been so annoying in these past 2 games that he has been used by Elite 8.
Yeah, I can imagine if they get the correct ordained combo. Nicely done. Jaeger super low, chunked down to 1/4 HP. Infamous will just back away as Elite 8 will try to fight another day with Ringo very low.
Oh, good damage there. Well, at least Infamous does have that siege potential if they can find the Ordain as well. With the stun, maybe with the at least the tether that it has, it can prove enough poke that maybe Infamous can go for these turret kills. But we're 5 minutes in, they still don't have enough damage, and they won't go for it just yet. They're trying to ramp up here. That's what they're trying to do. Anime Save Me doesn't hit the Impale, but that's all that's gonna happen for that one.
I can imagine that this fight will be longer than usual, because looking at Infamous's rotations this time around, they're quite passive. They're not the type that's like 100% committed to the fight, committed to these. If they know that one target is very low and they've used up and they will not take the risk of actually initiating. But then again, here comes the Impale, here comes the Root, get the Inwall, actually stunts, active camo, Spaghetti to safety, but everything is still going to be fine for now.
Clowny, he doesn't have too much regeneration here. I believe he does have at least that Fountain of Renewal, but he's got to use it for his teammate rather than for himself. The damage, though, the Munions is popping into the face of Infamous. And Uni's trying to go and at least deal back the damage, go for that revenge. But it's not really going to, well, deal too much. It does push Elite 8 back, however. So with that in mind, still no follow-up kills just yet, although there is a 200-300 gold lead for Elite 8.
Yes, and already having the ultimate coming from Official Hind, that spontaneous combustion, Infamous definitely has to respect that, as if I were to compare it in terms of ultimates, I'd rather have the spontaneous combustion, as it provides a lot in terms of dynamics towards these team fights. Am I going to use it offensively? Am I going to use it defensively? Meanwhile, Dragon Breath, on the other hand, takes a while to channel, and it doesn't do as much damage in a short span of time, so they can immediately get out of the fight. But here comes Official Hind from the sides. Whoa, Hellfire Brew. Not going to do that much.
Yeah,
yep.
onto Spaghetti. And I was about to talk about this. Minion Candy was actually used right now by Anime Save Me just to push this wave again into the side of Infamous. They really want to put Infamous to their backs against the wall. But again, you have to remember, Infamous is pretty good on these they have an anti-siege comp because they got a lot of wave clear with that Scarf, and to some extent the Kestrel as well, because at least he has good damage with the auto attacks. But now they're going to be spotting out Clowny.
Uh-oh, Clowny looks like he's going to be safe for now. One shot, one kill, still hits Anime Save Me despite the combat roll being used, and that's going to scare Elite 8 away for now. But one thing I'm curious about this matchup is, what if Elite 8 is actually going to be in the lead during the early phases of the game? Can they keep it up? Are they going to be greedy? Are they going to be doing the same mistakes as Infamous, baiting out not baiting out objectives, committing to something that they're not prepared for, almost canceling the back of Infamous there. Almost, but not quite.
Well, Frostburn already bought up by Uni, so even more slows for the Flame Dragon. Spitfire almost connecting onto Hunjagers as well.
All these cancels.
Oh man,
not happening at all.
A lot of flares and scout traps all day long, possibly just to spot out where Spaghetti will be positioning. Other thing that we have to take note of, both captains with the Fountain as well as that Crucible.
Definitely going to be helpful when Fearsome Shade actually gets activated. Crucible is definitely going to be detrimental into these team fights that will happen. Surely, I haven't seen them go all in just yet. It's all about the pokes. It's all about the chokes here. But looks like we'll see a committed fight.
Hellfire Brew damage onto Spaghetti. Oh no. He gets picked off with just a few domino effects from the skills of E8. Wow, he gets blown up straight off to the bat. And with that, E8, I think, have free reign onto the gold mine, and they're going to transition into that one. Clowny, he's going to face check the brush. He knows what's happening. There is the one shot of one kill. Can he go for the last hit? Oh, it was a little bit close. But so far, or rather so close yet so far away.
Indeed, Infamous, you saw, despite using the Fearsome Shade, Fountain of Renewal, Crucible, everything, they used all their defensive maneuvers to try and save the Kestrel. But it wasn't enough. It didn't do anything. It didn't scare Elite 8. It did not manage to counter the aggression coming from E8. So this is a little bit scary. This is definitely new from Infamous in this series, playing from behind this time around. Although it's just a 1k gold lead, but looking at the damage so far from what I've seen from Elite 8, it's definitely something difficult to deal with for Infamous whenever they try to engage or get caught out in these positions. There's no grace to save any mistakes whatsoever. It's really an all-in type of thing.
Oh, Ordained, one shot, one kill. This could be the comebacks. There's the Fearsome Shade as well from Clowny. Pushing them back. Impale will connect. Good connection onto the stun. There's the Dragon's Breath, but it's not really going to do too much. But wait, hold that thought. Anime Save Me. Oh! the heels.
Clutch, boost as well. Boots as well. Rather, Infamous doing a great job zoning them away, but Petal here is just running out of energy so far. Munions are charging in.
Impale once
Whoa.
again. They're really aggressive into this one, but Clowny will not be taken down, and they have unleashed the wrath of Infamous as double kill will be spotted by Spaghetti. Look at that prediction with the Glimmer shot. And with that in mind, I think now Infamous will be able to break down a turret. They thought that they could have free reign with Anime Save Me, but it wasn't enough.
They tried to bait it out from Infamous. They know that Infamous has a tendency to go a little bit too greedy, but looks like Elite 8 it didn't work out for them, and they played that out really well. Again, it's the gold lead just shifted towards their side, and immediately, bam, 3-1, 11-minute game. It's sort of like they're not the type to commit 100% all the time into these fights. Both of these teams are very hesitant. It's really do or die now for Infamous, or else they might not even reach the finals this time around. They worked really hard for this. You know how passionate these players are. Both of these teams, Elite 8, really here to prove something, that they're the #1 team in Southeast Asia and want to take 2 titles in the bag. And that is why this means a lot for both of these teams.
Yeah. And Elite 8 on the opposite side, they're trying to get back into Worlds as they have done once before. But, well, the gatekeepers of Elite 8 look to be Infamous right now, because after this one, I feel like they're not going to have too much difficulty in the other matches in the future in this, well, in today's tournament or tomorrow's tournament as well.
Indeed, really nice Ordain there, knowing the fact that Anime Save Me is about to do the engage, so that will deny the Petal to actually try and follow it up. So nice defense there from Clowny, as usual. Great play. Gold Miner actually trying to be secured for now. Hellfire Brew on towards Clowny. We'll see if Infamous is still going to commit to this. We've seen this so many times.
And it's not going to happen for now. Ordain will connect. Official Hind jumps back, or jumps into the fight as he tries to set up with the Munions exploding into the faces of Infamous. But Infamous, they got a good amount of gap right there, and then won't be chased down by Elite 8. So for at least that one, Infamous come out a bit victorious. Official Hind, though, does good damage, and Uni here gonna shut down that wave.
Uni super duper painful, forcing Ringo, Hun Jaegers to back away and respect that. It's a good decision. This is a very back and forth match, but in terms of objectives or structures wise, Infamous has that upper hand. They have the siege potential, they have really good wave clear, they've got really good sustained damage as well. They can keep fighting, and Elite 8 is definitely going to be forced at one point to back away, because Infamous is the type that can keep going and going in terms of not mobility wise, but despite losing ults here and there, they're still good to go. But meanwhile for Elite 8, they're quite reliant. They're not as reliant as, on these autos for sure. So let's see how this is gonna pan out.
Item-wise, you can see that Spaghetti has already bought up into 2 Tyrant's Monocles. So if he gets the lucky shot with the crits, either into his auto attack or his Glimmer shot, he is gonna hurt a lot. Even look at that, 1 shot, 1 kill, making the hurt onto Hun Jaegers. Anime Save Me, gotta go for the combat roll. Official Hind onto the sidelines. He's trying to at least poke from the side, so that's gonna give a little bit of leeway here for Anime Save Me and Hun Jaegers to maybe go back and heal, or at least reposition themselves a little bit better. Oh, Official Hind, if he gets caught by an Ordain, this might be his death. Although,
wow,
Crystal Sentry will not allow that to happen.
Exactly. Well played by Elite 8, still having a lot of control over their jungle side of the map. Infamous and Elite 8, you can see how rotations is a huge thing for these teams. They're not going to be committing to a fight that both of these guys are not prepared for. They really don't want to take the risk, but here is the time where it gets interesting. Kraken is spawn. Both of these teams, obviously, no one is snowballing just yet. No one is at the top of the game in terms of clashes and team fights. We haven't seen a full-on
Oh
team
no.
fight. We only seen picks.
There is the Ordained Connect as well. Fearsome Shade, they're really putting all of their eggs into the basket of Hun Jaegers, but that might not be the one that they wanted. Echo used second Fearsome Shade just to push back Official Hein and Anime Save Me, so at least they do get away from that actually a little bit of a bad situation. The damage from Spaghetti and Uni wasn't enough to get the shutdown as they were trying to deal with Anime Save Me and Official Hein trying to, well, basically provide protection here for Hun Jaegers. Kraken has already spawned, but there is a scout trap spot if they do start that objective. So, Infamous, they try to go for the picks, but they haven't been successful as of yet.
Definitely, Elite 8 really knows what to do at this point of the game. This is Kraken time. This is more vision, a huge, huge payout when Kraken is acquired on your side. So this might be, I feel like if ever Kraken goes to the side of Infamous, it would definitely, benefit them more due to the fact that they have a lot of siege potential. They've got good wave clear, and they can really take advantage of getting that Kraken. But if it's on Elite 8 side, it is more like an opportunity for Infamous to tuck their tails in and probably respect the potential of losing members. Hellfire Brew being used on Spaghetti. Let's see how this pans out.
Fight will break out into the side of Infamous's lane. Blocked onto the Fearsome Shade. Pretty good timing there for Anime Save Me, but Infamous looks like they want to give a run for the money of Elite 8. Nice block there from Anime Save Me as well. Taking the shot for his comrade, but now they are very low in HP. So Infamous, they might want to start off this Kraken as well. Flare, just to make sure that nothing of that sort does transpire. But at the same time, Ringo gets that first turret.
Beautiful play by Elite 8. You know what? They've got proper vision being laid down already on the jungle side. So knowing the fact that they're probably in the jungle rotating, patrolling, and setting up these scout traps, they did not think twice, push the lane in, get that turret. Now they're even in structures. They're quite even in gold, not quite even in kills, but the game is so close. I literally have no idea who's going to win because from what I'm seeing so far, both of these teams are quite afraid of making the first move. Elite 8 does have the potential of initiating. They have the kit for it. They are scaling well so far, but Infamous, you've got to respect their sustained damage in towards the fight, their repositioning ability, their disengage, their Dragon's Breath as well coming from the Scarf. So it's just a matter of waiting who makes the first mistake for both of these teams with the way I see it in this point of the game.
Yeah, but the longer this game progresses, the more that Infamous's damage will spike or will, I guess, scale better than the composition here of Elite 8. But the other thing that you have to remember is, like I said this in the earlier stages of the game, both Spitfire and Glimmer Shot actually get, for Glimmer Shot, it's reduced or it's blocked by the minions from the pedal, and the more targets that Spitfire passes through, the less damage it does. So if the minions are actually good in the positioning for the pedal, that'll at least mitigate some of the damage output that actually maybe most of the damage output that comes out from Infamous.
Exactly. And looking how these team fights actually progresses, you saw immediately they're gonna, these slow moving abilities gives more room for the Crucible to be activated. So it's not really a problem on these reflexes on how they're gonna counter stuff, counter movements rather. So they have to replicate what happened, like bursting a target down. But the thing is, these two teams are playing so safely that it's hard to find that window of opportunity to actually burst someone down if I were an Infamous side. And for Elite 8 side, it's hard to find the target because Lance still has to sacrifice his own positioning to land the perfect impale, walk Gintian wall someone towards your own team. Because, okay, we've got a trampoline for the, for the follow-up so that they can get close. But the problem is there's always the Ordain for that zoning tool. There's always the pokes, the Spitfire, the Glimmer Shots. So it's all about execution for both of these teams. They really have to think well on where they're going to be playing, because you cannot ignore the fact that Gentian Wall stun is just a pain if Infamous gets that end of the deal.
Yeah, but for me, I don't think that they will, because there's, well, I've been talking about how bad Infamous's spacing was in these previous matches, but now it's actually gotten better, and E8 still don't have that pathway to actually get some good initiations onto Infamous. They've got good damage in, but to finalize that, like you said, they need to connect the Githyan wall stuns, but it's not really happening for the meantime. The other thing here that we have to take note of is Hun Jaegers is building up, if I'm not mistaken, into a Slumbering Husk, and you got to take note that that item does at least help you mitigate the burst, or at least survive the burst that comes out from Infamous if you do get caught in either the crits of the Kestrel or just the blazing flames of the Scarf.
Exactly. Infamous here, just playing the waiting game, landing in the pokes. The thing is, Infamous has a ton of poke, but Elite 8 is not giving them the positioning for Infamous to take advantage of their composition. They keep moving around the map the same way Infamous is doing to them as well, because they have the power to initiate with all the CCs in the world. You keep doing this. Uh-oh, let's see. Anime save me. Impale misses. Clowny will be safe for now.
Infamous is going to be coming in from the side. There's the active camo from Spaghetti here, but it's not really going to matter too much. And as you're seeing, the poke wars have begun. Hun Jaegers is onto the side right here. He's charging up onto his Hellfire Brew. This Anime Save Me has to follow up right now. Clowny has been obliterated, but there is still that Fountain. There is still that Crucible can be dodged, but wow. Uni does not get anybody from that Dragon's Breath. He's in a very bad spot. Where's the Fearsome Shade? They need to use it right now, but look at the HP here. Bars of Elite 8 being taken down. Spaghetti heading like a truck. There's the crits, and he single-handedly obliterates the face of Elite 8.
You can get your Kraken now, Infamous. You've been waiting for this moment for sure. And with this, 3 people eliminated. I'm pretty sure no one's going to steal that away from you this time around. So let's take a look at the replay there, Asarai.
So they had such a difficult time trying to actually initiate upon. There was the Fearsome Shade. So it pushes Hun Jaegers and Official Hein. And because of that, they had to go for the reposition, and Spaghetti had the opening. There was a little bit of a YOLO jump there from the pedal to go and probably explode the minions into the face of the Kestrel, but it was already over once he got those 2 kills already from the teammates.
Exactly. Elite 8 wasn't in the best position. We rarely see these team fights. I'm pretty sure that's the first team fight. That's the first ace of the game. 21 minutes in, probably our longest game so far. Will Infamous push this to a game number 5? Or will Elite 8 create another miracle for themselves? This looks really grim for Elite 8 so far.
As one of the stars in High School Musical have said, push it to the limit. Limit, as it looks like Infamous, they want that game 5. Hellfire Brew comes out from Hun Jaegers. 1 turret down, 1 more to remain. Fearsome Shade onto the sidelines. They're going to go for it. The Hail Mary pass. They're trying to at least get the damage in, but it's not really coming in. Here comes Uni. Oh, Ringo. Ringo's shut down a Kestrel. Maybe this is the comeback that they're looking for. Uni has no more charge to deal with, but he gets the 1-for-1 trade. Hun Jaegers going for the reheals right now. There's not a lot of energy to work with, but the Kraken has broken down the turret. He's slamming down onto the base, and the Infamous, they decide for the better. They back away. They know that it's open, and it is down for a backdoor.
Backdoor, that is a Kestrel right there. It is indeed possible. So I'm guessing Elite 8 will really put down the vision near their base, near their jungle, everywhere. Put that everywhere, man. For Infamous side, they finally got what they wanted. All they have to do is just be a little bit more patient, and they're going to get rewarded. You saw the second instance of patience right there. If it were a different Infamous, they would have tried to take advantage of the Kraken being there, the Vayne being exposed, and that's like 2 people still alive on their side. Could have tried to auto-attack it, but you know, they don't want to take the risk. They already are in the lead in terms of structures and map control. They don't want to risk it. They can fight another day, probably get another ace before getting the Kraken. But we'll see how it's going to turn out. They can play safely. They can repeat what they did for this game. and eventually lead us to game number 5.
War Treads was purchased there by Spaghetti, so he's going to have a lot of ability to work with. Every 6 seconds, I think, is the cooldown of War Treads. I could be wrong, maybe 8 seconds, but he's going to have a lot of ability at least to be able to get away from harm's way once he does try to go aggressive. Back, so use those War Treads and then back away from the damage. He's got to be careful because Hun Jaegers, he's found him once, but I don't think Spaghetti will make him, will allow him to find him for a second time. But I could be wrong. We'll just have to see if Infamous will go and smoke out Elite 8 or choke out themselves.
Uh-oh. Kraken has awoken. Not this again. Infamous has already learned from their game number 2 and 3 mistakes. And it is apparent in this game as, you know, they're not going to be rushing towards things. They're going to be baiting this out for sure. 51k gold, 51k already. Oh, no, they're actually going to start this. They're doing this, Aserai.
Smart to put it at least on the brush so that they can see if Elite 8 will be going. Flare as well as they try to come back. There's the Fearsome Shade. Oh, wait. Oh my god! 2 Fearsome Shades to push them back.
Good.
No Crucibles.
No Crucibles anymore.
Oh man.
They've already learned from game number 2, game number 3. Even though 3 members are alive at this point, they're not going to let this happen this time around. No steals. Kraken is theirs. Active camo, I can imagine. Here, from Spaghetti.
Spaghetti has got to back away. Hun Jaegers' damage is crazy right now. There's the Ordain. Oh, Dragon's Breath. Look at the damage just chipping them down so freaking low. And Hun Jaegers, he wanted to go for Spaghetti, but it wasn't really going to happen at all. There is the 1-shot, 1 kill, but almost 60 seconds for the cooldown or the respawn timer on this Ringo. And, oh no, Infamous. Game number 5. We have pushed this to the limit.
The panel did predict it'd be a 3-2